Welcome to Radio Friends on Thursday, March the 30th. Pleasure to have you with us today. Got a special lady who's never been on our program before, Jana Russon. Good to have you here, Jana.
Hi, Paul. Thank you.
You are with the Kirksville Arts Association, and you're here really because of a tragedy that occurred.
Indeed.
Tell us about it.
Well, in December, the first part of December, we had just put up our quilt exhibit that would be showing for 2 months. Mm-hmm. And in the afternoon, Friday afternoon, I went around taking some pictures of that brand new exhibit that had been up one day. And then that night, the whole building burned down, quilts and all.
Oh, how many quilts were in there?
There were 30 quilts in there representing 16 people.
And a fire came in and destroyed everything.
Destroyed everything.
Now you brought with you today, there in this bag, there's what's left of a charred, burnt quilt.
Yes.
This must have been just devastating to you and to the other people who were...
It was first unbelievable. We thought maybe they had made a mistake and it wasn't that tragic. But it was, and I had 4 quilts in there that were destroyed, and I went home to deal with that type of grief. And
you went home and you broke down and cried.
I did, and I realized my daughter was not going to be receiving those quilts. So I got online and made a little book with the pictures. And when I got the book back, one up, I realized all the other quilts had stories. So I went to the Quilters Guild in January, said that they could submit stories for their quilts, which I had photographs of.
Yeah. Now I'm holding a book in my hand, and there's on the cover, there's one of the quilts. Tell me about that one.
Yes. That's the first quilt you would have seen if you had gone
as you walked in the door.
As you walked in the door.
And this quilt does not exist anymore.
That's right.
Who did this quilt?
Mary Smith.
Mary Smith. Okay. Then I'm going to open up. We marked a couple. This one. Explain what this one is for the people listening on the radio.
Red and White Quilt Star, and it was made by Marilyn Peck.
Okay.
And this is the quilt after it was burned.
All right. So we've got a picture of this. If you're listening on the radio, you can go to kbia.org and watch the vodcast of it. Or if you're watching us on KMOS right now, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. And then there's another picture. These were pictures of the building itself, of the quilt set up, the display. And explain this one quilt that I'm pointing to.
This is Amber Corbett's quilt. She had made that out of some really brilliant fabric, and then she did actual hand stitching of cartoons all throughout the quilt. And this shows the quilt again, and a little segment of the gallery showing the a corner and the piano. And
yeah, and now all of this exists only in memory.
In book.
And in this book. If people want to get this book, what can they do?
One thing about it, when I got the stories from the quilters, we decided to make it a fundraiser for Kirksville Arts Rebuild Fund, and they can write to me, Jana at janaphotos.com, and I'll send them an order form. Okay,
so this is for the Kirksville Arts Rebuild Fund.
Yes.
So you go on the web, and they can. Is it an email or?
There's an email.
Email. What's the email address?
Jana at janaphotos.com.
Jana at janaphotos.com. And you will
I'll send you an order form.
And they can buy the book.
And they can.
Okay, and hopefully you'll sell a lot of books and enough money to rebuild. All right. Thank you, Jana.
Thank you.
Pleasure having you. And I'm
indeed.
sorry for your loss on that. But you know, out of every bad thing, good things come. Right?
Well, we're glad we have pictures.
You do. And you have a lot of good memories, too. Now, I want to introduce you to 2 people who are here to talk about the JCHE Home Educators. Stephanie Smith, pleasure to have you. I feel like I've done this before with you. And Henry Town, good to have you here. Now, the JCHE Home Educators is about what? Is this homeschooling?
It is. It's an organization for families that are home educating their children, and so we have over 200 families that are part of the group.
200?
Over 200, yes, and the group's been around for over 20 years, and so one of the activities that the group has is a teen club committee, and so they put together activities throughout the year for teens and that are part of JCHE, and one of the largest of those activities is an annual spring theatrical production.
And you're doing the theatrical production of?
MASH.
MASH.
We're doing
and this is a family-friendly version.
It is a family-friendly version, absolutely, yes.
And Henry, you are in that production, right?
I am. I'm Henry Blake.
Oh, you're playing Henry Blake.
I am, yeah. Colonel Henry Blake.
Yeah.
So.
Is that a difficult part to do?
Not too bad, but my punchline throughout the play is, don't call me Henry. So it's a little bit hard. Because my name's Henry. Because I am Henry, yeah.
Exactly. Now, were you a homeschooler also?
I've always been a homeschooler, yes.
So, people listening or watching, tell us why you feel that homeschooling is so good.
So, well, there's pros and cons to everything. I think one thing with homeschooling is you have the flexibility to do what you want, go places that you wouldn't really have the time to go to. But you also have to be careful and balance that with getting enough school done. Mm-hmm. So, and it's like you can choose what classes you learn, what classes you don't. It's all under your control or your parents' control. And I think it gives you a lot more freedom and leeway to do what you feel you want to do.
So when you're doing this production, trying to raise funds for homeschooling, you're doing it because you really believe in what you've been through and what you're going through.
Yeah, and I know all the people in the homeschool group, so I know everyone in this play. We're all friends, and it's really like it's a team effort. It's definitely a team effort.
When you're doing homeschooling, do you have to study a certain number of hours each day?
Yes, to a certain point until you get kind of past the point where you get enough credits. And I'm a senior this year, so I'm taking some extracurricular classes outside of home and with my private tutor and just by myself. But definitely, yeah, it's not a free for all. You can't just
right. Yeah. All right. So tell us about the production. It's when and where.
This is going to open Friday, March 31st and at 7 p.m. And then we will also have shows on Saturday, April 1st. We have a 2 and a 7 o'clock show. And then Thursday, April 6th, Friday, April 7th, and Saturday, April 8th. And it's going to be at Union Hill Baptist Church in the Activities Building, which is on Summit Drive in Holts Summit.
Okay. So it has to be the family-friendly version of MASH since you're doing it in the Baptist church.
Well, and also, we always try to appeal to families. We want them to be able to come. And, one of the things, Henry knows this well, is that we always feel that we owe our audience an excellent show.
Yes.
And every year we have people come and that just say, wow, I can't believe these are all just teens.
That's wonderful.
Because we strive for a very high level of excellence.
Okay. Yeah. So you got 2 weekends. You're running 2 weekends, Friday
and Saturday.
The first weekend.
Yes, and then the second weekend it will be Thursday, Friday evening, and then a Saturday matinee.
All right. And how do people get tickets?
Yes, they can get tickets are only $6, so this is
only $6.
We really want to keep it affordable.
You could have charged a lot more.
We could, but we really want to keep it affordable for families, and so they can get tickets by calling 573-301-4908.
Okay.
And they can also go on Facebook for JCHE Teen Theater, and there's all the dates and times on there.
All right, break a leg with the production, the family version of MASH. Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
We're out of time for today. Our program directed by Travis McMillen, Reynolds Journalism Institute Audio, Pat Akers, KBIA, our floor director, Lowell Thomas, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mouser. Bye-bye.